Welcome everyone to another episode of Trek Talk with Tech and Kirk. I'm TechMan16.
And Strange Handy.
Kirk is unavailable today,
He's
but
kirking.
he's Kirk. He's Was it LARPing? LARPing?
LARPing. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. He's LARPing. He's LARP Kirking. Um. Anyways,
Kirk-a-larpin.
today we've got PrimeMinister from CDN on Server 38, and we're going to discuss all things related to Server 38 today. PrimeMinister, or Mr. Trudeau, I guess. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'll just refer you to PM from now on. Otherwise,
I decided a couple weeks. I decided a couple weeks ago I'd go by the name Prime Minister Justin O'Toole because those are the names of both of our main leaders. The one on the right is Aaron O'Toole, and the one on the left is Justin Trudeau. So I figured Justin O'Toole just sounds like it worked.
you have what is it like an Irishman running the country in Canada there.
He wants to. Right now, it's still just a pretty boy.
All right, man. So let's start out with some few basic questions. What is the most powerful alliances on your server? Who's got the most resources rated, and what is the resources rated? Who's got the most power, and who's got the most power destroyed?
Pull up my notes. I don't know. Our server has been mildly pretty active for over the year that I've been playing it. A lot of us have pretty much grown in tandem. I'm not clicking the right buttons here. So we've got our largest alliance right now is 1.5 billion. I think that's billion. No, trillion. I don't know. It goes 1,519,785 and then 3 zeros. Next one is 1.1, and then it goes down to 802. Those are our top three, and I am number 9 at 531.
So CDN's at 500,000.
What level are you again?
500 million.
500 million. I am a weak ass level 36 because I got really sick of hijacked ships, and I made it my life's mission to get the fucking hijacked ships out of my Armada chat.
Yeah, anytime somebody says, "Oh yeah, I'm building a hijacked ship," I'm like, "Why?"
Yeah, I yell at them. I've made it an unofficial rule in my alliance that you are not allowed to build those ships. They are the biggest fucking waste of everything you can imagine.
Hey, I built a hijack legionary. It's a really cool looking ship, though.
Oh yeah, it looks very cool and completely a waste of resources.
Of course I'm going to talk about it. Yeah, I built a hijack D3 because I was going Fed and Romulan when I was younger, I guess you could say. Thinking, sweet, I've got a D3, Klingons hate me, I can push this up and then scrap it for primes. And fucking halfway through pushing that thing up, I realized you can't scrap D3s, which make them can't scrap hijacks, sorry, which make them even more useless. And I wasted all of that fucking crystal on a hijack D3 that's now sitting there at like tier 5 or 6 and just like pissing me off every time I see it.
Well, you know what? Everybody has done it. We all have that ship or two that we wish we had never got. For me, it's the Hydra. I'm pissed at myself for building it and putting some resources into it.
I absolutely love seeing the big miners come out when they're trying to raid, and like I'll ignore a raid until I see a Hydra or something like that, and then I'm like, no, I'm gonna come pop that just for shits and giggles because I know
Just to
how
troll them.
expensive it is. Yep.
Well, like for me, it's not too bad to repair, but for somebody who's really put a lot of resources into it and they're not, they don't have all the research maxed out.
Yeah.
Like if you're like level 46 or something and you've got a pretty powerful four-star miner, yeah, it's going to cost you a lot to repair that son of a bitch. And basically until like tier 6, it doesn't even mine as fast as a maxed out regular faction miner. You know. Anyway. Sorry about that tangent. Go ahead. We're talking about your
Yeah, so
server.
go back to who's got the most power, what level, most resources rated, and most power destroyed.
Power. Oh, that would be boss. Yeah. Top power 74 million. Second is 72. Third is 71. And then like skip all that. 10th is 50 million. I am a whopping 313th place in power because fuck's given, but I'm at 9.7 million. The guy, one of our, actually, number 1 and 2 are probably our biggest whales naturally. Power all. Power destroyed is about 856 million. And then 777 is number 2. That is almost entirely the quote unquote PvP aggressive alliance, which is quite cute, but we can get to that later. But yeah, it's predominantly like blowing up miners and shit.
How old is your server?
I've been playing it since February last year, and it was probably maybe about 6 months tops at that point, if that. So we're pushing maybe 2 years at the end of the year, roughly, sort of deal.
Okay, so a little younger, but very respectable. And so you have a few level 50s, a couple level 50s, or
We have like 2, I think, right now. There's a few people pushing. Obviously, the
from
master server whales are
your power levels
going.
you
I don't
listed
have
out.
any. Well, yes, let me see here. So the 553 mil, he is a level 46, and that's third place. Level 1 for power destroyed, he's 47. Overall power, where was boss? Boss will be our biggest. He's a 50. And Slayer's a 50. And then, yeah, Cash is almost 50, 49. So we've got 2 50s and probably about like up to 5 or 10 people pushing 50. So within about 48 up, and then a sizable amount of people kind of hovering around that 39 to 42.
Do you know about how many players are over level 40 or 40 and up?
Sizable amount, yeah. We're getting there. Like there's still
Like
that huge chunk in
40,
the
50.
mid 30s, but probably about that. I'm trying to think how many people we have in general. So our servers got maybe about 25 to 30 relevant alliances at best. And that's relevant alliances with like 60 or more people in it that are active. After you hit that 25-30 rank, you start getting into the 1-2 player alliances, which are kind of fucking meaningless. So I'm thinking like largest alliance, if we've got about 2 or 3 out of there, we're probably about maybe 20-30% over 40, and probably about the same sitting at that mid 30s, and then very few lower than like 25, 28. Those are mostly alt accounts at this point on our server.
And Tech, I was looking at the leaderboard the other day, and we have like over 150 people that are over level 39, like 40 and up.
How old's your
That's on
server?
our server?
Yeah.
I think our server is like launch day. Maybe like right after launch.
2.5 years or something. Yeah, it wasn't long after launch.
Yeah, but Handy, you're level 50 now. How many level 50s are in your alliance?
Oh, I don't know. I don't even know anymore. Like 8? I can check.
Yeah, let's go check.
Yeah, you probably have more 50s in your alliance than we do on our.
Now I'm curious. I don't think I've ever actually counted.
I mean, I didn't until today.
Yeah, right. It's like you just know
You
that
got
there's a
85 people in
few.
your alliance.
It's like one of
You
those
got
things, you have a general idea,
one,
that's all
two,
you really
three,
need to know
four,
until you
five,
need to
six,
know.
7, 8. You got 8 level 50s, 1 level 49, 46, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 45s, 6 45s, 7 45s. Right, their power levels fluctuate, so I see like a level 43 above a level 45.
The highest I have in my alliance, I've got 144, 241s, 237s, oh, some 38s, but only 3 over 40. But I mean, that said, in this server, most people that are over 40, 45 are on or in the same alliance or two. The whales and that kind of stick together. The spenders are sticking together, which makes sense. But so there's at least
Anywho,
there's
so
going to be
So
let's.
we
one or
have
two groups that
33
dominate
people.
events.
We have 33 people that are over level 39 just in our alliance. That's crazy. Yeah, this game is really pushing into level 40 up.
Yeah, because
Anyway,
they'll have to expand soon. Anyways, PM or Justin
Yeah.
O'Toole. I remember I was in your voice chat at one point, and I was talking to a guy. I can't remember his screen name, but he was from the Borg Alliance,
Yes.
and he was telling me that Borg declared war on like 6 alliances simultaneously. How did that
Yeah.
work out?
I kind of wish I was in that call to see what their thing on that was. So the long and short of it essentially is it boiled down to like consistent kind of aggression that people have learned to accept from these people, and then a TC capture that they ended up losing, that got really sore. So they started to just declare on war on everyone because they lost the TC, and then they brought in a couple other large groups because they just wanted to, I guess. And all of these groups are bringing in were against them. So it ended up becoming 7-on-1 sort of deal, alliances against them. And they brought it upon themselves. They didn't do so well. Like, it went on for about probably 2 months, and then they were getting raided a lot. They were getting frustrated. Their big guns were having to defend like left, right, and center, and it was coordinated. So we ended that war, and we've been quote unquote Diplo for the last 2-3 months, and it's just been a dramatic shit show of hypocrisy and waiting for the other shoe to fall back at this point. Um, I don't know. It's just a load of bullshit. Like, these are the guys that are like, "Oh, we're gonna PvP and PvP's cool, and you should like PvP, and the game's all about PvP. Enjoy PvP." So we're like, okay, and keep in mind that these are the ones that are the higher levels, that don't like to PvP with people in their own kind of class or range. They like to go to the lowest of the attack range and wreck house. They have, again, actually in the last week or so, well, basically but not officially declared war on my alliance because of a legit base raid or legit OPC raid. So it's just like, it's snowing again in July, and we just have to fucking chuckle. But we're kind of, most of my server is kind of tired of the childish bullshit that's coming from that side of the server. So yeah, they were super proud about declaring war on everyone and then essentially losing again.
So they got their asses handed to them. Is that what happened?
Pretty much, yeah. Like, it wasn't a huge pushover. Like, they put up an effort, but I mean, you bring so many people in against you, you just can't. You can't with the numbers, right? You got one thing going on in this system, and then you got another thing going on in this system. You've only got so many big guns that can protect you. You can only be in so many places at once. It's once the whales started getting hit and started getting raided that they started saying, okay, no more. It's once the dark space do not hit started getting ignored. They're like, okay, let's talk. We want to stop this. So it was one of those like, we'll go into a war as long as it's just beating up on the little guys. But as soon as it affects any of our spenders or anything, then no, we can't do that. And then the war stopped.
Get
And
a
I
swift
think
resolution.
that's kind of a common thing for most servers. It's
Pretty much, yeah. It's a Scopely thing. It's a Star Trek Fleet Command thing. It's how the game is designed. People want to come in and just dump money into it so they can have the biggest little pew pews, and that's fine and fair. And then they just don't want to have their little pew pews go boom because they've spent tens of thousands of dollars on it, which I understand. But at the same time, don't spend tens of thousands of dollars on pixels. But
my
we
pixels are
also kind of
very
have to
worth it.
understand the
Worth
microplay
every penny.
is very strong in this one.
I like my
Scopely
expensive pixels.
Scopely counted a lot on COVID last year, and they made a lot of money off of it, and they had a lot of people spending extra money that they wouldn't normally spend on a game like this because of that. I'm hoping that they can see that they can't consistently bring that business model into every year coming, because it's just not going to. Shit's reopening. My country's reopening. People are going back to their lives. It's summer. It's work. You can go to the movies again and shit. You can go to the bar. It's going to be a lot less disposable income going into pixels.
Very, very true. Not only that, though, it's a lot of people are having less time to play. Like, for example, this weekend, 4th of July weekend.
Yeah.
Literally all of our top players, none of them were online hardly at all the last 2 days.
We're 1,600 points shy of getting the final tier in the Apex monthly. So we're not going to get the 75 heist tokens. And same deal. We had Canada Day on Thursday, and then 4th of July today. This whole fucking weekend, half of the people are out. They're gone. They're having their life. Good on them.
Really? They don't log in and even do their dailies or anything? Or their events?
Some of them, they do, yeah, but
we had our Apex done in less than 24 hours.
This is the first time we haven't actually made the alliance. And the other 2 days we were doing good, but
well, you got a lot of people out then. That's crazy.
1, 2, 3, 4 people off about 3 days, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 off 1 day, and then the rest are 20 hours or less. But 2 of them are my biggest players too, right? So one of my 41s is probably out at the lake with his family, and he just put a fucking weekend shield up and said, "Okay, I'm out." But we're starting to notice it because a few more people are doing it. A lot of my lower players, one of them is up on a summer trip in the Yukon right now, so he's just sitting in TC with no bubble.
You thought? Do you have how is your alliance ranked as far as power compared to the rest of the server? What number in power?
We're 9.
Your alliance?
9.
9. Okay. That's about what I would expect from 9th position, though.
Yeah, no, we've been consistent top 10 sort of thing pretty much the entire year. We've never been, and I know, especially as an admiral, there's no way in hell that we'll ever reach top 5. There's just not. We don't have the spenders. We don't have. They've all conglomerated, whatever, into that one alliance for that reason. And like I said, I understand that, but we're comfortable where we're at right now. We get half decent rewards all the time, and when we need to show up, we can show up. So I've always kind of pushed that real life first. This is just a game. Come in and do your shit and help the alliance to get your events done. So we're not just sitting here doing nothing. But no, you don't have to log in 16 hours a day. No, you don't have to jump in voice and get on all this coordinated shit. Just come do your thing. I lucked out that through attrition and all that shit, I've got a really solid group of players that are casual but not casual.
Gotcha. You could always recruit more active players if you felt the need. But
not on our server. Our server recruiting is pretty hard. It's been closed for a while, and they're all kind of established
people don't
groups
move around?
of people and friends. No. We all talk. We're a very community-driven server for the most part, which is what pisses off a lot of those alliances like Borg, because they don't like when people work together. We've set it's not the wild west out there, and I think some of these groups want it to be like Rev Deuce would like it to be, but it's not. We have respect for each other, we have rules, we have communication between admirals and shit like that. We don't have a server wide ROE. We all have our own, but they're relatively the same, and we all understand The difference is like we have a functioning community, and that's what's helped all of these
So no standardized
free-to-play
grow.
players be able to grow. No standardized growth. Standardized
Well,
suggestions
but to be fair,
like no OPC miners don't hit data space, but the like data space is up to each alliance. So most of them have do not hits in data space, augment mining, unless an alliance hits them. And if they do, then that's fine, whatever. Go back to ROE, OPC hunting data is fair. It's a tit for tat sort of mentality that's spread. And one of the larger alliances a while ago put a lot of effort into trying to get everyone to the table to start talking to each other, and it's grown from that. We have a couple social servers, and we bounce around from each other's alliances, and like I only have 2 actual allies and a do not hit group, so 3 hearts. But I have so many of these neutral groups that will come and help us when we need, and we have territory defense packs and shit like that. Like we've got a good system going, I think. The community is what's kept me in the game, basically. Not the
well, what I've noticed was that you guys on the Grit server are always in voice chat with one another.
Yep.
Come nighttime. So that I believe that leads to more server cohesion.
It does, absolutely. And in that call, there's always at least 3 or 4 alliances represented. Like, but when we're in that call, we're not in that call as our alliance. We're just in that call as friends, as whatever, right? We're just talking about stupid shit, or we're talking about crews, or we're talking laughing at people, or we're talking about like the fucking world. Like it's just social hour, and that's
Right,
helped
yeah.
alleviate some of the
Yeah.
stresses and some of the hate-ons. And when you get to know the people that you're popping OPC or that are raiding your base, you personalize it, so it makes it less like angry when you wake up and you're like, oh shit, I forgot to shield. I'm gonna like fucking troll message this guy. It's just like, oh, cool, shit, good job, right? Like I don't know, it's killed a lot of tension, and the people that want the tension don't like that naturally.
Obviously, right? Because people want to go pew pew, but if you know somebody you're pew pewing, it's hard to foster that level of animosity to keep going.
Those 6 degrees of separation too. Like if you want to go and pew pew someone, that's fine. You do it legit. Your hands are clean. You want to go pew pew someone and be a complete jackass bully, everyone else is going to notice that, and they're going to talk. So it's going to get around, and karma is going to come back. And some of the people that want to instigate don't like it when the instigation comes right back at them and flip their lid. And then we all laugh at how childish they are at that point. Like,
Yeah, I wanna get into something that I was talking with. Who was I talking with? I'm gonna let me see if I can find it. Bro Renzo and Young Ducat.
okay, yeah,
I was talking with them on
yeah.
on DJ's server about the guy on your server that allegedly faked his death and you guys opened up a GoFundMe account, and all of a sudden he changed his name,
Yeah.
and turns out he wasn't dead, and his wife wasn't really his wife, and his kids weren't really his kids. What the hell happened with that?
So again, part of that community thing, we were all friends, and for the longest time, this individual had portrayed himself as one thing. And I mean, all that happens through it, and whatever is true or not, like who he portrayed himself to be for those months was a decent person, and try to just remember that side of it. But my understanding, yes, is that like he co-opted an identity of possibly like his late father or relative or something, with all this valor and shit. The wife was allegedly an ex-girlfriend like 10 years ago, and those were her kids. He didn't necessarily come on looking for money. The money, the GoFundMe was done on our own accords and everything.
PM,
right?
you're kind of
But like he never asked, but it could have implied. Who cares?
you're kind of breaking up a bit, so I'm gonna ask you to repeat that.
Sorry, is this any better?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, yeah, no, he portrayed himself as like a normal individual. It was a good, fun person. He was very friendly and he cared about people. But my understanding is I think he co-opted his either late father's or family's member's identity. Ex-girlfriend like 10 years ago and was her kids and just used a bunch of old pictures and shit and then just yeah. Um, Personally, I think that he probably started out in a little white lie at the beginning and it snowballed out of control. And after so long, he may have tried to just get out of it. And that was his way of trying to get out of it. Who the fuck knows? But he didn't ask anyone for money. Everyone who gave him money on their own. Live and learn of internet and shit. But yeah, that was probably one of the most interesting things of the server that happened in the last few months here is finding that one out.
So is he still around on the server? Do people know where and
No.
who he is?
No, his account's gone. It's either like
His account.
dead and he's not playing it, or he's deleted it, but he's not on the server anymore. He's gone.
Okay, all right. Because I thought after talking with them, it seems like he was still around, but under a different name.
I haven't seen him. We have a couple players that are coming back and doing their like I'm just going to go full on Riker, which actually that's not going to mean a lot to you, so I can explain that to you. But I haven't seen him as one of them. I'm not sure though. But so for the last like year or so, we had one player named Riker who just always wanted to just wreck shit. His main MO was just go and clear systems and just be a complete jackass. And it was fine. Everyone was all good with that. He owned it. We pummeled him. It was great. He had a mouth on him, a pretty bad mouth. He got himself banned from the game. And now we have a bunch of copycats that are coming back from littler alliances and like the old free-to-play people that feel like they got pummeled and bullied by the whales are now just coming in to, they're bored. They're coming back to the game and they're just killing everything. It's kind of hilarious because none of them are strong. They're all in their early 30s, right? So they just go and pop minors. That's all they can do. But yeah.
So was he not the guy? Is he not on the social servers channel where he's in voice chat all day? Because I could have sworn I was talking to a guy named Riker, but he might have been a copycat. I don't know.
Right. Riker, I don't think was on our server 38. All of the other ones potentially could, yes, because they were normal players in normal alliances at one time. Like the Mert guy, the one that faked his death or whatever, is not on any of the Discords or anything anymore.
No,
they left that. But
I mean, when you said going Riker, there is a guy that I was talking to. He said he was part of the Borg Alliance, and he had a Riker avatar.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, it's not the avatar. It would be in the name. The Borg Alliance. Those are the PvP wannabes. They're kind of like Riker, but not. Like they do have rules in their alliance as thin as they may be enforced. They want to be the number one alliance in the server. They want to be the top power. They want to be the top dog. They want to be feared. But they are also the ones that will declare war on you for raiding their base. After subsequently, like all morning, that same morning, they came into our TC, they force raided through TC, they camped in our TC for hours and shit, and we're like, okay, whatever, you guys are being dicks, but we'll get over it. We raid one base overnight, and it's like fucking a war declaration. So the hypocrisy in those kind of groups are fucking just hilarious. And it's gotten so sad at this point that, like, anytime we see them start talking, everyone in my lines just starts mocking them.
There it is. I found it. Borg Fire at Will, 1976.
Go again.
That's the guy I was talking to.
Yeah, Fire at Will is Borg's admiral.
Oh, okay.
He has a grudge against me that he doesn't want to explain or try to fix, and it's just he's got a lot on his plate, and he has a lot of people in his alliance that they want to keep because they spend a lot of money, so they contribute a lot of like perks and shit, and they're powerful, right? They can help defend them. I who wouldn't want that? So I mean, he is trying to juggle a lot of different attitudes and ideas. Don't envy him, but at the same time, like that group of players has been the consistent same group of players doing the consistent same group of things for the last year. None of this is
Right. I get it. I get it. Makes sense. Happens to everybody on every server. It's
Absolutely.
everybody.
And in every alliance and every server, we all have our own as well. Mine, not all of my players are perfect little fucking angels, that's for sure.
Find me an alliance of 60 plus people where everybody's a perfect angel. I don't think you're gonna find anybody.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about your alliance. CDN stands for, I'm assuming, Canadian, because
Yeah.
first of all, you have a moose
That's
avatar
Canada.
in a Canadian in a Canadian outfit.
Yes.
And
That's my
so
RCMP moose because I was stoned. I found it online and it just fits. Yeah, no, this alliance existed before I came to it. So like back in February, I was just floating around. I think my original alliance was called High or something like that, like just HI, not GH. But I joined it because like I'm from Canada, I live in Canada, and I was like, hey, look, Canada Alliance, and it was basically kind of a deadish alliance when I got into it. The Admiral was dead. There were people playing in
you you cut out.
it, but there was no command. So I don't know. We just
Yeah,
kind of
man.
took along for about a month or
Headphones.
so, and my headphones kind of suck.
Anyway, so you were
yeah.
saying you were high one time and you found a moose, but then back in February you were kind of floating around, and
Yeah,
you
in another alliance, just starting. So then I found CDN just randomly, and I was like, "Sweet, I'm from Canada. I'm in Canada. Let's join that alliance." Admiral was dead, so it was basically like there was an active alliance with no command. So after about a month, I started messaging Scopely, and I got them to kick the Admiral. Uh, they reassigned it randomly to somebody who then assigned it to me, and then as of basically February of last year, I've been Admiral of Canada. So I basically peacefully.
did you hear that, everybody? He's Admiral of Canada.
I believe that makes me the right honorable admiral.
Or you're supposed do you have to portray that you're the nicest, like
So
to keep up
that's
Canadian
already
good image?
it's already kind of stuck. I didn't have to do anything for it, and I mean, even when I'm an asshole, people think I'm nice. So it legitimately is a stereotype apparently that we don't even see. It just happens. Sorry.
You don't even have to work at it. It's like,
Right.
oh, it's the Canadian Alliance. Oh, they must be so nice. They
I mean,
even left a
that's why
thank
we
you
have.
note for raiding their base.
Yeah, we have no allies, but everybody likes us for the most part.
That's awesome. Oh man. And so tell me what you guys like, because I've been in your alliance Discord for a little bit now, and I first of all I can't keep up with all the conversations in all your Discords because everybody's so freaking active.
Right.
But what I haven't You're right, but what I have noticed is that you guys do a lot of checking on everybody. Like everybody is really about, there's always a bubble check. There's always, who's where and who's getting rated. And, like we have some of that in our discords, obviously, but you guys take it up a notch. Like I think that the bubble checks are I don't know, like every couple hours, every 3 hours. I can't recall because
So,
I
yeah.
constantly get pings saying bubble check, or like move out of TC. We're going into this TC space, or you're going to that space, or whatever. And I'm just like, I pop in randomly, like, yeah, I moved out of TC, no problem, all good.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Yeah, no. So the bubble check thread is relatively new. We used to just do it in the House of Commons room, the main one. Obviously got really cluttered, but it's basically whenever I just come across it. Anyone obviously who's a Commodore can see how long they've been online or not, or offline or whatever. So that room is literally just there. So if you see someone in passing, you just fucking post it with a tag to ping them just to try and get them online. Um, it's not just us, obviously. The whole server essentially does it for the most part. We started out in we had a massive hive in Madra way back, level 14 system in the midnight area. And we had it filled with about 7 or 8 different alliances. So on the Discord that you're on, we used to have like a huge coordination, multiple groups, with like me fucking explanation codes and warnings and shit that you could just like put in. And yeah, no, it got very organized that way. And then through the attrition of the game, the people that are left are the people that
That
stay.
sounds
Kind of
familiar.
relatively organized. It's fantastic. The hive.
No, the completely full system, and alliances
Oh yeah,
defending it together.
yeah. It
We had a
was
system like that.
hard. It was hard, but it was relatively worth it. It ended up becoming the Madra meat market, and don't get me wrong, people got raided there all the fucking time, but mine got raided less, thankfully, because other alliances were there to keep their bubbles down and distract.
You're cutting out again.
It wasn't perfect, but it progressed pretty fast.
The funny thing with
Okay,
Discord
I'll
is
be
if
right.
you have another app open, or if you're in game, or if you're moving around a lot on your cell phone.
It's most likely the moving around in my Bluetooth headphones.
Right. Try not to move the phone around too much, and it'll come in a lot clearer.
Where'd my other ones go?
It's just something with Discord. I don't understand it, but it seems to work. Don't move, and you'll be fine. Still there?
Okay. It's working.
Mr. Admiral Canada?
There we go. I just switched to a different set.
Say what?
Is that working? Are these ones working? Oh no, it is my phone. I'm getting it.
You gotta speak louder. If you switch to like your phone, you're gonna have to speak like in your phone.
Oh, the Bluetooth headset was working fine. You just need to not move around. At any rate,
You can't do that. You have to move around. He's Canadian after all.
It's our internet up here. It just sucks. Canadian internet's just no good.
Oh, Roger's internet, it doesn't work very well.
Rogers is garbage.
ours
Well,
isn't much better.
Well, they had enough money to give naming rights to the Toronto Blue Jays stadium.
Fuck story. My apparently Spotify just turned on for no fucking whatsoever. There we go. Can you hear me?
Yep, I got you, man.
Or,
So at any rate, so is your server relatively peaceful then? So everybody's got different ROEs. Everybody just kind of. So are you supposed to play by your own ROE, or do you treat every alliance differently depending on their ROE?
yes.
So everything in between,
generally,
basically.
yes. Generally speaking, the members
that's
of
what
my
kind of pisses
alliance
me
are.
off about most servers, that like, because we had that kind of go on here, just really annoying. You know what I mean? So it's nice to have one standardized ROE. You know how people are going to act. I mean, even our server has little differences, but for the most part, everybody pretty much plays the same.
Well, and that's the same thing. So all of our ROEs are almost identical. It's just there is no server-wide enforced, voted on, made up anything. So like the basic ROEs are the basic. UPC miners on a node are protected. Don't ever hit them, like ever. Territories are generally kill on sight for anyone who doesn't own that territory or is allied. Deal with it. Like token space is usually one of the stipulations that 90% of the alliances do not hit in anything that requires token access. So board probes, armada circles, shit like that, unless a group decides they want to. So let's say Alliance XYZ likes to hit in probe space. They don't want to grind probes. They want to fucking hit OPC. Fine, have at it. At that point, like CDN would tag them with the hand as a little friendly slap, which means you see them, keep an eye out on your miners, and you're free to hit them OPC in any fucking system you want. So, right? So the tit for tat goes back, but we may not have one standardized ROE, but we all follow basically the same rule.
Yeah,
And
see, that's why I wish they had a yellow dot. Right? You got red dot, and I wish they had yellow dot, like caution.
Yeah. One more Diplo tag would be great. 2 would be fucking fantastic just cause. And, like, it's really not hard for them to do, but, yeah.
I'd also like to be able to tag individual people.
Yes.
Like, if they drop an alliance and they have no alliance, you should be able to tag just that person.
Yeah. That's what our old Riker would do. He would go no alliance at all so no one could tag him. He knew that people could tag his alliance and they'd see him coming.
Right. Well, you know, in typical Scopely fashion, they'll fix it in like a year or something.
I remember them saying something about changing the 30-day chest so you could like double dip, and that was like 3-4 months ago, and I believe the word imminent was used, and it kind of fucking disappeared. So
yeah, typical.
They did that with photon tokens on the newer servers. So all the newer servers.
Yeah. So it already exists. The thing is already there, and they said they were going to try and bring it to all the other servers, and they just never.
Well, one of the other things that they could have done is on the founder server on 190, which doesn't exist anymore, you would get an extra G3 refine every 10 hours.
Oh, what happened with that? Do they still have it?
Nope, because server 196.1, they got rid of it.
Oh shit! Oh yeah. Man, I bet they're pissed.
I think everybody is pissed off. I think Amergan put he put like a novel to customer service about how, you know, this has been so good for the community and it'll continue to be good for the community, and you have the power to do it. Don't take it away from everybody. And, you know, obviously Scopely's response was, "Oh, thank you for responding. We'll get to your
no, we'll
get to your message.
The appropriate people or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll make sure the team hears this." Oh, great. You mean you shuffled it to the bottom of the shit pile?
Right. Exactly. So to the photon tokens and the extra Diplo tags, what you'll probably have to do is, I think 5,000 people will have to buy packs that say we want these things, and then they'll think about it, and then they'll put out another teaser pack, and then you buy those, and then it's going to be like, all right, well, you paid us like $50 million. I guess we'll put in an extra button.
Yeah, you got to be a whale complaining about burning Rialtas to get anything.
Really, it just has to be enough people. So regardless of level, if actually enough people complain about it, they'll put it higher on their agenda. It's just like any other business. I mean, if 1% of your 1% of your customers complain about something, they're not going to do anything about it because it's just 1%. But if half the people are sending them messages and telling them that this is messed up, we want it changed, and they're going to do something about it.
If you're not spending, they're not listening.
That's
like
not
you've got to have like 90% of the people saying that.
I would love to throw Scopely under the bus and agree with you, but it's not true. It's just they're not looking at level. They're just looking at how many people.
They're also looking at revenue in, right? And so what they're doing is working. That's why they don't change things. Price of
everything they do is to increase their revenue. Absolutely.
Yes. So in terms of fixing things for people bitching about, like, little guys have complained about things left, right, and center, and they rarely ever get addressed or fixed or whatever. Look at the glitches, but literally a Rialta burns a G4 ship and costs them ever so slightly so much, and somebody complains about that. Fucking day later, Rialtas don't burn anymore. Like that's jaded me for a while. It's just how fast they jump.
That's a good point. That is a good
what
point.
the whales will fucking bitch about versus what everyone else is bitching about, saying, I want to play this rip-off time-sucking game that you're fucking, like, sucking me into worse than a crack addiction. I want to play it, but give me this or help me out or what the fuck. And they're like, yeah, well, thanks for letting us know, we'll consider it. And some guy who spent 50 grand is like, this little fucking Rialto just burned my big-ass ship. Oh, no, don't worry, we'll fix that for you. Right meow. Like, from that moment on,
Well,
and before, I've been pretty jaded with how Scopely treats us.
yeah, the whole issue with the Rialto is it would be like this little teeny tiny ship would burn a big ship, and then somebody else would come along and hit it with a big ship. And now all of a sudden it gets a lot more damage. It gets blown up when it really shouldn't have. So that's a pretty major bug.
It is, but
But
also at the same time, if you have attack ranges that allow that massive ship to pummel a fucking not even close to being able to do anything alliance, then teamwork is their only defense against that G4 ship, which is a shit ton of fucking burning Rialtas pissing them off to get them away. Without that, there's no way that like a level fucking 34 can discourage a level 40 something from coming and just pummeling them.
good point. Yeah, there's not a whole lot you can do.
The
But
Rialta
as
is
we've
literally
all
your
said,
own
that's the
saving
way they've
grace.
designed the game.
No, absolutely. But that's why I have zero sympathy for a large ass player complaining about a Rialta causing them trouble, causing them headaches, causing them griefs. It's like it's nothing compared to the grief that that player could cause to the person with the Rialta anyway. And
Well, I
it's a fair
could
tip to
easily
cut.
put yourself in their shoes, and you would feel the same way. Every human would, you know. So, for example, well, you said you're level mid-30s, right?
Yeah, 36.
Or mid to high 30s, something like that. So let's say a level 22 ship comes in and burns you, and now a level 32 comes and blows you up.
Yep.
Isn't that going to piss you off?
Yep. But that's the strategy of the PvP. So I'd have to either deal with it, work around it, or say this isn't worth my time and move on. I.e., they had a legitimate defense that they could actually use to potentially legitimately defend themselves, as opposed to just throwing pebbles at a concrete wall all day.
Yeah, I get you.
I mean, I get both sides, absolutely. And my point, I guess, more to that is like what side of the argument they'll listen to and how heavily they'll listen to one side more than the other. They're not ignoring the rest of them. Like, credit where due. They definitely aren't necessarily ignoring us. They just drag their feet purposely for a long ass time on some of the easier, littler things. And they seem to jump on some of the more trivial, insignificant things depending on who's.
Yeah. I think it all comes down to what's easy to fix, what isn't, and who's complaining about it.
I can't
Because if
imagine that the
wherever you're getting
Rialta
90%
thing
of
was.
your revenue from,
Well, yeah, you're going to cater
well,
to the people that are paying your bills. I get that.
of course.
But they also do, I think, need to
Well,
give more
the thing
credit
is,
to the krill and the need for having these little fucking feeder fish in the server for these whales to progress.
well, again, it's weird because I
Or
don't know
reset.
how much of a mechanic it was to fix the Rialta burn as it is to fix officer and captain's ability of officers they just released that don't work. That, like, I would
Well,
imagine it would it's a similar type of issue between two very
you would
unrelated
think.
things.
However, let's say, for example, that there's a fundamental problem in your coding, and this officer you just released, has some kind of skill that doesn't even work with with the coding. So you would have to rewrite the whole program to make this new officer work. I think that's what they're running into. I think the main issue is
Correct.
they just don't test any of this shit before they release it.
Yeah, there's no beta.
No, there's no fucking beta. They don't release it on one server and fucking get feedback. They just release it everywhere. And they're like, here you go. Let us know when there's issues. Not let us know if there is issues, but let us know what the issues are.
What
They really need to just have a beta server, that like gets extra whatever, for compensation to have to deal with the bullshit, and they need to release all the content a month earlier and test it.
did Barrett's ability ever get fixed? Does anybody know?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Like he's supposed to activate like some sort of defense while you're mining for your miner, but I don't think he's ever been fixed. Cook saying no, it didn't. An officer from the beginning of the game has not been fixed, but a Rialto burn has been. That's
circling back to my point. Yeah,
typical Scobly.
It's wild.
Anyways, getting back to your server. So with your social servers intact and so many people on voice chat all the time, are there currently any major conflicts going on?
Oh yeah. There's a lot of shit brewing in the background. There's a lot of drama, poking the usual trolls, going back and forth with each other and shit. So, I mean,
Good. Tell us about the trolls.
Do you have any insane ones? Do you have any that are just absolutely batshit crazy?
Well, most of those are gone, unfortunately. But now it's just the ones that lose their shit over getting hit legit. That I don't know. Short of throwing a bunch of people under the bus, it's the I can do it, you can't. How dare you? You're food. Like fuck you. This is gonna be fun. And I always just respond with kissy faces at this point. Like it's kind of hilarious. We communicate with each other, like our friendly groups and shit, when the shit's happening, so we all know what the trolls are saying when, so we're ahead of them. They kind of don't like that because, yeah, I mean, I'm just so tired. I've been trying to fucking just ignore half of this shit for the last few months because it's so ridiculous.
We should create a Discord channel that's called Troll Watch.
We thought about posting screenshots on the server wide one, but like the drama on that. I mean, you guys have seen Server 38's Discord. Like that's essentially what it is. There's a couple people on there that you know what I'm talking about. They're just, yeah. That's what GC is. It's just the forum of the dumbest of the dumb to go out and spew just some of the stupidest shit you'll ever see. I don't pay attention to GC. People are trying these grand master plans, A, B, C, and Z at this point. So I'm just waiting. Probably in the next week or two, there will be a rehash of that server war.
What server war was it?
The 7-on-1 shit.
Oh, the Borg one?
Yeah.
So people get upset over it getting hit like over the protected limit or getting their base hit, and they just complain and bitch.
A couple weeks ago, different alliance, they got hit, and he came into our TC and started just clearing 0 nodes and hitting everything he could and saying he's going to come hunt us. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? I got hit. I'm like, okay, how did you get hit? He wouldn't tell me. So I knew what he was doing, so I set him up and I trolled him with my like questions and Canadian politeness, and figured out that he got hit OPC about 100,000 ISO. I'm like, that sucks, bud, but the fuck is your problem? Because like you can come and do it, but that provoked 4 days of that alliance coming into our TC and camping shit out. Just like it was just ridiculous.
Because he blew up and sent a bunch of PMs.
Yeah.
100,000.
Yeah.
Right.
ISO.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, I mean that people go OPL all the time. It's up to you to watch your shit.
Was it his Hydra too?
No, I think no. I don't think he's that far up, thankfully. But it's just there's quite a few people on our server that have that mentality that they can hit whoever they want, but by God, if you hit them, like you're not allowed to touch them. They're fucking invincible, and it's ridiculous. So back in the day, they were the bigger spenders, so everybody kind of skirted around them because they paid for their power. There wasn't a lot people could do. Nowadays, with crewing and grouping and working together and shit like that, those little guys are not so useless and they're not putting up with this shit anymore. So we just sass right back, be like, yeah, no, sorry, that's not how it works. But let me know if somebody hits you out of ROE. But until then, like, keep your bubble up and check your OPC. Grow the fuck up. You have to end up being an admiral for other people's alliance because some admirals just don't want to deal with it again.
Well, they don't want to police their own people.
Pretty much. Because those people provide things to that alliance, which again I understand as an admiral. They provide either the perks from the fucking buying packs or all the helps and the extra info or the muscle. There's something that they want out of it that they're willing to overlook the shit that if anyone else did it to them, it's a declaration of war, but they can do it to anybody else because, well, they're working with the guy and they need the guy. So double standards are pretty alive and well. They had died out for a while.
That's too bad. That's
But
a shame.
you
I
get used to it.
I know.
We've learned
but
that that's what it's
I'll
going to
tell
be,
you
and
what.
that's who we are.
Every time I see somebody on our server doing something like that, I just get very disappointed. And
Yep.
I got to tell you, we used to have a lot more of that, but we kind of came together as a server and said enough is enough, kind of like you guys are now.
Yeah.
And it's improved tenfold.
We did too. I think we're at a decline on our bell curve right now because we started out meh. We went up to a good high point, and the war hit, and then we've had some attempts to divide and conquer within. We've had a couple groups that have succumbed to like Stockholm syndrome with that board shit, whatever. But shit's going back down on that belt. More of them are coming back out. Some of the old players are coming back to be the wannabe Rikers, and like the trolls are feeling more emboldened.
Have you ever do you know how many people on your server are active? Do you figure it's around 400,
It's
4,000?
probably between 500 to 1,000, if I had to guess. Let me just do some rough calculations.
If you do like when you have a leaderboard for the whole server or something.
Oh, they're busy. They're competitive. They're good. So we're probably actually closer to 1,500 to 2,000. Because if we base like 65 players on 25 relative active alliances, that's 1,605. And that's pretty
I
fair.
doubt 25. You have 25 alliances that are 100%
that are relevant.
active?
Yes, that are relevant. Absolutely.
Well, not just relevant. I mean, like
with
100%
players, yes.
active.
So, yes. So
wow,
not
you've
100,
got a very busy server.
Not 100, but close enough. And 65 is a good guesstimate based on. I keep pushing the wrong fucking buttons here. Here we go. Our top alliance is 76 out of 77, and they will be near 100%. They have quotas and shit. Like they're on top of their shit. I have spreadsheets as well, but maybe 5 tops of those are inactive. So we'll say 70 on that one. 74 out of 75 on the next one, 71 out of 76 on the next one, 69 out of 75, 74 out of 75, that's Borg. I'm 69 out of 74, and I've only got about 4 inactives. So I'm at 65. And if I go down to...
So let's say 10% of each alliance is inactive, approximately.
Yeah. But each alliance has around 70 people, average. So if we do 60 people and 25 alliances,
let's say there's 68 players times 25 alliances, and we take 10% off that. So yeah, you probably got around a 1,500 people server, at least. Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's pretty active.
There are people on our server that like to say that we're dying and everything, and we are not a dying server.
Every server loses players.
Yes. We don't have new blood coming in, but we still have a lot of active shit, and we like our milestones and leaderboards are still very competitive, especially around that 35, 36 mark and that 39, 40 mark. They're hugely insane. So it's we hit all of the alliance or the server wide event milestones every single time.
And so you have not been merged or heard anything about a merger yet? Okay.
Fuck.
I wouldn't think so.
They're not going to merge.
You're looking at the servers that are merging. We are way far away from being close to that, for sure. We would need to lose over half of our server to even become part of that radar. given what I've seen on the server.
Don't worry, give it about a year and a half. It'll
Yeah.
come.
No, it will come. It won't come tomorrow. Like, I'm not too worried about it. And there are other ones that they'll put together, but we've just got there. A lot of the people on our servers, main complaint is that we're all too friendly. There's not enough raid targets. But that's not because there's not enough people per se. It's because they're all friends.
One thing I would encourage everybody to do is you can be friendly with somebody and still raid them.
Absolutely, like DDN.
You can still play the game. Just be respectful. You don't have to make somebody an enemy to play the game.
Most of the alliances that will help me through and are part of my like territory group and shit are not allies, and they raid me, and we raid them. But when shit hits the fan or I need help, they're there. So we have a friends with benefits thing. We don't need all that fucking purple. I'm not personally complaining about not having enough raid targets. My alliance isn't necessarily upset about that. We have probably one of the fewest allies out of there.
And people just need to realize it's not personal when somebody comes and raids you or hits your OPL. It's 9 times out of 10, it's not personal. They're not attacking you. They're not focused on you. You're just a target of opportunity, and they took it.
Yep. And that's where the social servers helps a lot too, because it brought people together. So it brings alliances together, and you don't have to have everyone in the alliance talking to everyone in the alliance. But if 1 or 2 are from each other groups, they're talking to their own groups, and it's spreading goodwill and all that good shit. Helps reduce drama.
Tech, did you have any other questions before we move on to the next segment?
I don't.
All right. Well, thank you, Prime Minister.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you guys, or appreciate you sharing your server. Keep us updated. We want to hear about any dumpster fires that happen.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, you're still on my Discord, I think, so you'll be able to see it when it happens in real time. But I'll let you know. You can grab some popcorn and we'll get some screen recordings for you.
Yeah, please do. And shout out to Kaika, who can't listen right now, but he was the one who actually got me onto your server because he came to us, or he came to server 34, Jaeger sector, and he was asking about a podcast relating to server mergers. And I'm like, no, dude, we didn't talk about server mergers. We talked about 2 of our alliances, IMM and MBD, were at war at the time. And we were trying to do that, and he's like, oh my god, I'm enthralled in this soap opera here, and I need to listen to it more. So he created an account on server 34 just to get some insight on those 2 alliances. And at that point, I'm like, well, why don't you talk about, why don't you come on and talk about your server? He's like, oh, I'm not that guy. But you can, you can come to my Discord and find people. I'm like, okay, let's do that. And lo and behold, I'm in the Canadian alliance, and he lives in Texas, I think.
Yes.
I'm like, right on. I'm an honorary Canadian, and I respond to those bubble checks.
We're happy to help. It's anything to help save a resource or 2.
There you go.
It's the Canadian way, we just help our neighbors out. Your light's on, just make sure everything's all good, right?
Awesome. Thanks, Prime Minister. Appreciate you coming, buddy.
No worries.
Thank you very much.
Take care, man. Well, what's up, Medic? I thought I'd pull you up and say hi.
Hey, what's up, Andy? How you been?
I've been good, man. Living the dream.
Don't
forever grinding dream.
Ever grinding dream.
Dude, after this last 48 hours of events, I'm ready for a break. I'm gonna take.
Did you get the skin?
Say again.
Did you get the Stella skin?
I did finally. Yes. Haven't tried it out yet, but yes, I got the Stella skin and I got the Plasma Blast projectile, the one that gives you like a 5% to your critical hits. So
Oh, really? You got both?
yeah, I figured, like I'm not into projectiles and skins, but I was like, that one's actually got a little bit of, you know, something else to it besides something that just looks nice. So I was like, screw it, I'll go for it.
Nice. Congrats.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
And how many
So
armadas did you have to run for that?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't even know. It's been a ridiculously insane amount of 48 hours of armadas. I have no idea.
I'll tell you this much. Dark has got a lot of their higher players are heavy weekend players. I've noticed, like a lot of their
Yeah, that
guys
makes
are.
sense.
A lot of people are on the weekend. Like I've noticed a lot of our players in Nona. We have a lot of people that are busy on the weekends, so they don't play much. They mainly play during the week.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've noticed that Dark has a lot of weekend players. It's just kind of interesting. It's something I've been noticing with these some of these events.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty accurate assessment, actually.
Yeah, but man, every time I look,
Yeah,
Dark's running another Rogue Armada.
I just couldn't. I couldn't deal with having that, so I just did the bare minimum and left. That's too much.
Oh, yeah, it was an
So
insane amount of
how you
armada.
liking it there? Any?
Oh, it's great. Yeah, man, Dark's a great group. It's great. I love it over here.
Good.
Definitely.
So, any?
When are you jumping ship?
Yeah, right. So any updates for
We've been
you
talking about it
leaving?
for months. We've been talking about it for months. When Handy was like, I'm gonna get in Key and Grazi and Chef so they could replace me and I'll go to Dark. That was the secret background conversations that we were having.
Ah, okay.
You guys are so full of shit. So I'm curious, how were your relationship with MBD since leaving? Have you tried to mend any of those bridges, or?
I mean, it's pretty good with certain people over there. There's certain people that I know, hold animosity, and that's fine. I haven't not yet really even tried to talk to any of them, but had a lot of other people reach out to me. Both during that week and now that I'm at Dark, and I've just tried to maintain friendships with as many people over there as I can, and I would say I've maintained a lot more friendships over there, and a lot more people that I still can talk to on a regular basis than that I don't talk to. So which is good because I was there for a long time and I still have a lot of friends there. So out of all the alliance, I probably right now, I guess I would have to say I still have more friends in MBD than any other alliance. But out of all the alliances on the server, the second most amount of friends I have probably are in Dark, and it just comes from battling with them so much and not taking it personally on either side, and everybody just being totally cool about it. And that's, it kind of made the transition to Dark really easy because, man, there's a whole bunch of people over here that I'm friends with and a lot of great players here. So.
Sure. Yeah. Have you had any issues in Dark? Have you noticed any problems over there?
No, actually, haven't noticed any problems at all. Everything's seems to be going really well over here.
All right. That's not what I've heard. Just saying.
Andy's just fishing.
I am fishing. I'm totally fishing.
So I'm like, spill the beans, Handy. What you got?
Oh,
Let's
I'm not
go.
going to spill the beans. I need somebody in Dark to talk about it. I'm not going to spill any beans. I'm not trying to start shit here. I just want the juicy gossip.
Well, I appreciate you guys bringing me on, but I got to run. I was actually just about to log off of this anyway. I got to go jump in the shower and I got some whole bunch of stuff to do today. I'll probably be back in game later tonight, but I've invested way too much time in the game the last 48 hours, and I've got to get back on top of real life before I get back into the game. So,
fair enough. Have a good one, buddy.
You too, guys. Enjoy your happy 4th, everybody.
Happy 4th. My fishing My fishing expedition came up dry. Wah.
You're so full of it. How did you do with the whole Armada thing?
Me?
Yeah, the past
Oh.
few days.
I mean, I sent to as many as I could, but I've been busy, so.
I think I sent.
But to be
4
totally honest, I was
Armada.
shocked. I was shocked at how little our larger players have been playing the last couple days. Blown away. Like literally nobody's online. Like
Well,
Inko, Smooth's barely has been around a little bit, but not really. OB a little bit, Groper a little bit. OC's
Well-
pretty stable online almost all the time, but other than that, yeah, man, just like a lot of our guys have been busy. They're all doing stuff
Well,
for
you
the
have-
holiday weekend.
You have July 4th, obviously.
Well, yeah, I
And-
think like our entire alliance went on vacation this week.
Well, and
I don't think I've seen our alliance ever this inactive.
And part of the other thing is like, who wants to do Armada events? I mean, no disrespect to anybody trying to get the skins or the projectiles, but like, you have to wait for Armadas. I mean, 7-minute timers are still annoying.
Yeah, well, we love the regular armadas. Whenever those events go on, we always totally go after it. But for some reason, the rogue madas this weekend, not so much.
Yeah.
But I think another big thing is all of our upper players are, including me for the most part, is pretty much we're done with exchange space. We've already done all the research.
That's
All
a
the
good point.
research is done or very close. I mean, we have like 3 or 4 maxed out Stellas and don't even need to scrap them anymore because we just don't. You know what I mean?
Did you say three or 4 max Stellas?
Yeah.
A person? A person?
Easily. Anybody level
God.
50's got like 3 max Stellas, no problem.
Oh my god, that's that's insane.
Yeah. That's not even a stretch. I know, what is it? KJ has got like 4 of them. That's how he won.
He's a special case, okay.
He's a tryhard. Freaking KJ. I hope you're listening. You made it such a pain in the ass for me to get the Stella skin last time. Or like the very first one. It was a freaking Armada animal
You know,
that weekend.
I honestly haven't even turned on any projectiles or any skins.
Well, if you have any
And
that actually affect your ship, you should absolutely apply it to every single ship. A lot of people don't know this, but you can put one projectile on all of your ships. And you should, because if they add to anything, I mean, all it's doing is adding. I mean, there's no reason not to use
Right.
it. It's not taking anything away. It's not costing you anything. Once you have the skin, you might as well apply it to everything.
Let's see, skins. I don't have any skins. Never mind. And projectiles. I have this green thing.
Well, some of them
Plasma.
don't do anything. They just look different.
Plasma beam, fusion beam. Doesn't look like they do anything. Ionic disruptors. Whatever. Unlocked.
Sounds
Pulse.
like you got the free ones.
Whatever. Yeah. I don't pay attention to any of that. Oh, here's one. Oh, this is the one you have to buy. Increase weapons damage by 10%. Huh. Okay. Whatever.
10% is 10%. I mean, it probably only gives you an extra 3% after the math works out, but
yeah, or less after all the research.
Everything helps. I mean, every little bit does something, right?
Yeah. Yes. I can't even unlock it because I need positron shards. Oh, how much I don't care about this. Oh, yeah, whatever. And we have a
So
new
the
event
first,
today.
yeah, the
Yeah, go
first
ahead.
week of Key, Grazi, and Chef went
Yeah, how's
extremely
that
well. Went extremely well. Everybody's doing awesome. Key has been amazing. He's an
Yeah?
extremely good team player. Um,
Nobody's declared war on Nona yet?
no,
Well, that's exciting. Congratulations.
yeah. So everything's been going good on that front. I wish there was some kind of dumpster fire for me to talk about, but there isn't. In fact,
Yeah.
I've been extremely, extremely proud of my players in Nona. Because we kind of made the mistake of not telling anybody in the alliance what we were doing, and so everybody just kind of logged in and saw saw the
Is
new
is it
players, and
a
we're
is
like,
it a
what?
is it a we thing, Handy, or is it a you thing?
What do you mean?
Well, you said we made the mistake. I'm like, was it a we or was it a Handy
No, it was a
thing?
we. It was mostly me, but it was a we. I
It
mean,
was a we.
it was totally my idea, and I kind of implemented it, but
I think Cook's
but I
saying
mean,
it's a totally.
all of our Commodores were involved. They all knew about it, except for the ones that don't read our officer chat. And yeah. So anyway, so we made the mistake of not telling everybody like we normally do. So when we recruit, we put all the recruits through our recruitment channel and give anybody or everybody in the alliance an opportunity to comment on the particular player, because we want to know what everybody's experiences are with that person. We don't just let just anybody into Nona. Like they need to be, they need to be vetted. So we didn't do that. So, and a lot of people have had past experiences with Key, and quite a few people, I would go as far as to say, at one point hated Key. You know what I mean? It's hard
Oh,
for a lot of people to
because you went
separate.
pew pew with the
Yeah, yeah.
pixels.
Well, people get emotional. I mean, it's standard, right? Standard operating procedures. People get emotional about this game.
That's
And
not standard operating procedures.
yeah, it is. From my experience, it is. So,
That's a purely human response. Standard operating procedures means this is how
well,
you
you know
do
what I mean.
things.
Well, exactly. And this is how people do things in this game. They get emotional. It's exactly what I mean. I mean, I don't think it
Okay.
should be like that, but a lot of people's reactions are that way. So it just kind of is what it is. At any rate, long story short, we held some meetings and filled people in on why we did, what we hope to accomplish, what the end goal is, address people's concerns, and the whole alliance came together and have been fully supportive and have been, backing Key up in armadas and being super friendly and alliance chat, no toxicity whatsoever, no crap talking. And this is somebody that, Key has heckled us for a year and a half. He's been an enemy. And just at the drop of a dime, just from asking our players to give this a shot, they all came together, and I'm proud of everybody. They're just, our players are awesome. That's all I got to say. And some really, really awesome people in our alliance, and they're giving them a chance. So it's really good. It's pretty cool.
Cook says, "Yay, Terran Empire."
So
Cook,
yeah, man.
the Empire. This is like what was it? Luke Skywalker joining the Empire.
Right. Totally. So that's what it's kind of felt like, but seems to be going well. So we'll see how this experiment works.
So Is anybody able to beat that giant Borg cube in beta sector yet?
No.
With your immense power? No.
Mm-mm. Nope. Not to my knowledge. I don't think
Well,
anybody's even really trying anymore. I mean, aside from just making that mission go away, there's really no benefit. I believe what's going to happen is we're going to see when they release more levels that the quote unquote assimilated, which are the Borg and deep space,
yeah.
will play a role in the expansion when they do it. They'll release more systems. We'll probably see a lot more of those hostiles. And so above level 50 play is probably going to have something to do with assimilated, because there's a ton of research to do in the assimilated category.
Yeah, I guess because the further you expand out, the further you get to the Delta Quadrant, where you get the Borg Queen.
Right. I don't know. We'll see what they do with it, but
yeah, because I think enough people are getting to level 50 and are getting bored now. I'm sure you're bored, right?
Bored?
You're
No,
bored.
I'm not bored yet. I got
With the
plenty of
gameplay?
things to do. I
Like
got
what?
plenty of things to do. I got a
What do
ton
you
of
got?
research I can still do. Well, not a ton, but I've got a lot. And
Okay,
then
all right.
I've got
What?
some 4-star ships to build, some rep to
Okay.
grind out.
Okay.
Yeah, I
That's
still
it.
got probably a
That's it.
year of stuff to do still.
In terms of research and building ships.
Yeah, easily. I mean, once you hit 50, that ain't it. I mean, look at Inch. He's been level 50 for quite a while now, and he's still buying a bunch of packs, still building a whole bunch of stuff, leveling his ships up. I
Yeah,
mean,
but he's got.
it just
What is
takes
he?
forever in this game to get your stuff together to be able to
But
upgrade.
he's. I mean, I'm assuming he's leveling stuff up like for domination events. I don't think he's doing it because he's got like tier 10 G4 epics.
Yeah, but they still have a little ways to go. You can go all the way up to tier 12.
I understand that, but it's just.
But yeah, for
I'm
Inch,
pretty sure.
he's got to be getting a little bored. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the only thing left for him is that Borg cube that he can't scratch.
Right.
Everything else he's pretty much got, and all the other researches that require a level 51 research building that he can't get.
He's got to be getting a little bored. But yeah, there's still stuff to do.
No DT. There's no mention of the Enterprise D yet. I'm sure if it will come, they'll probably release it as like a level 78 ship.
Well,
yeah,
they'll probably release the next generation Enterprise, is what I believe, the D, right? Isn't it? Is it Enterprise D, the TNG one?
Yeah,
that
that's
is
the
the
Enterprise.
one.
Come
Yeah.
Treya, my friends. Come Treya.
What did you
Different
say?
show.
Come Treya.
Yeah, that's from Stargate. Yeah,
Yeah,
Kumtraya.
but I say that every time I go to a new alliance for particles or something.
What was that character's name?
I'm trying to remember.
Was it Harlan?
Yeah, it was Harlan.
I love Stargate.
Rev actually put out a hint in his crew video at the beginning of it, showing off a model Enterprise D, and that was supposedly his hint for the next arc.
So we will see the ship then.
I mean, they're putting the Enterprise D all over all the advertisements. They have to bring the D in. Now, one thing that we were discussing, I think it was you and me, Handy, talking in our firesides, was about how they could make the Enterprise D useful going forward for everyone. and make
Yeah,
it.
we did talk about that, and we talked that we thought they might, hopefully not, but I think they're probably going to end up making it either a ship that'll bridge G4 to G5, kind of like the Jelly, is what I think they're probably going to do. Or they might do, they could even potentially do something that's like the what's it called?
The sarcophagus or the Franklin?
No. Franklin A.
Yeah.
So if they do it like the Franklin A, where it's like a G3, G4, G5 ship, right?
Yeah.
So it's like kind of like a multi-generational ship,
That would
which I
be
really
great.
hope they don't do. I hope it's like a top of, like a level. I hope it's like a level 50 ship, like it's a low, like a G4,
Well,
G5 ship. Personally,
I'm gonna disagree with you on that. I think for selling the game, it would be better for them to make it where you can get it, say, like level 36, 37 as a G3 ship, or it's still after the Enterprise original.
and
And
it's going to
then,
be one of those ships that's extremely slow to progress.
yeah,
Like
it's got to be
it'll
extremely
it'll
slow, but
it'll
it
end
can.
up taking 6 months just to tier it up.
Well,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
but think about it this way: let them. It won't be maxable until like level 75.
But that sucks.
But it's
That
also
puts it too far out of reach. I would hate to see it that way, personally. Like the G4 ships are already almost out of reach. You know what I mean? To max those things out. And if they make something that's even more unattainable as far as leveling it up, because what that would basically mean is that each tier would like make a huge difference in power.
Well,
Huge.
you'd have to add research to that, but also give it like 17, 20 tiers based on how many levels you'd be going up with it. Considering a G4 ship is 12 tiers, go like 15, 17 tiers with that, since it'll be a G5 ship. But by the time you get to G5, you're already at like tier 12.
Well, if they did it the right way,
I mean,
could
there's no
see,
way they
I
can
could
do it
see
the right
how
way.
it would be interesting and probably more profitable for them.
If they did it the right way.
That's probably
Do-
what they'll
Do
do.
you, do you honestly believe
Think about this way,
Scopely's
though,
gonna
too.
I don't believe they're going to do it the right way. I believe that they're going to piss me off, but
Yeah, but this way they can get the most people to want to get that ship. Whereas that by making it a G5 ship, no one's going to get it next month.
except for Inch. But yeah, yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, because I think when the
They-
game first came out, right, to build your Enterprise, you were gonna need, it was like a really long game to progress to get it. I do think that my personal opinion is they're going to up the levels and make it a really tough ship, but that would be the selling point. Keep playing the game to get your Enterprise D.
Yeah, but they're going to need to do something for the people playing right now, playing this arc, to feel like
They already have been. Almost all the content they've released in the last year has been for the lower level players. What more do you want?
I mean,
I'm not saying
well,
low level. That's why I said like 37 after the original Enterprise, where it's still something progressively up, but it's also something
I don't
by
see.
the
That's something to consider, right? So at level 34, you get the Enterprise.
Yeah.
At level 50, you can get the Enterprise A.
Ooh, how about this? How about they
And then,
scrap the Enterprise A and turn it into an Enterprise D?
well, they could do that. And if they do, then I'll get it. But the Enterprise A, I'm definitely not going to get. At least I don't think I will, unless they fix it. Now, I've heard grumblings about them planning to fix the Enterprise A. So maybe their fix is making it the Enterprise D, changing the skin, making it a little bit better ship. And that's their solution. Who knows?
And it'll automatically change Picard into a PvP ability only when he's on the Enterprise D.
Now they'll just give the ship a really good ability.
Yeah.
You're wishful
Hopefully.
thinking. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. It's been fun. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment. Helps with the algorithm. Listen, we're on all the podcast platforms. Just search Trek Talk with Tech and Kirk. You'll find them on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, and your favorite podcast place. And I want to thank everybody for coming on. Cook, thank you for not working today because it's July 4th. And
Rest.
yeah, Prime Minister from Server 38, shout out, thank you so much, and Medic for stopping by. And again, thanks for listening, everybody. I'm TechMan16,
And I'm Strange Handy.
and we'll see you guys next time.